Updogg, Good Life, baby.
Our friends at Good Life, Obes. I mean, we were wearing it every fucking day.
My closet is all Good Life and Missin Curfew merch. That's about it, and maybe a couple of collared shirts in the back. But listen,
and a new suit jacket after the derby party.
It's comfy. I got the green shorts on now. It's breathable. Every morning I go on my walk on Ocean. I got my Good Life shorts, my coffee, my Good Life tea, or my Good Life sweatshirt. I'm comfy. I'm looking pretty good. Really good for me. It's just comfy stuff.
I actually got a picture of you yesterday walking down Ocean Boulevard from my builder. My home builder was doing a house over there. I saw him. And he goes, "Hey, is this the big boy?"
Yeah,
he listens to the pod.
I gave him the wave.
And sure enough, in the picture, you had the white socks, the Good Life socks on.
Rock the socks.
You had the white shorts, black tee.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a black tee guy. Me, I like the colors. I like this bundle. I like this Henley I got on, this little snap up.
The Henleys are unbelievable.
When I think of Good Life, I think of a lifestyle. I think of them as my go-to. If I got my eyes closed and I pick something in my closet, I feel it. I know when I feel the Good Life, I take it out. It always looks good, feels good. To our listeners out there, for those of you who haven't tried it, go visit their website.
And I'm going to say for you guys out there that maybe don't like to wear a collared shirt or don't get dressed up, and your girl's giving you a hard time, these Henleys, they look good. They look more dressy upper. You trust me, your girl's going to be like, wow, you look good. That color brings out your eyes. And I bought some of the Henleys, like light blue, beige, pink. They got all kinds of summer colors, man. I'm telling you, you can dress these Good Life Henleys up and get into any club you fucking want to, Updogg.
Just be careful your girl doesn't steal it, because that happens. Especially if you're a single guy and you got a rotating door like we used to have.
Oh, the good old days.
So that's www.goodlifeclothing.com. Curfew 20 is the promo code. Share it with your friends. Load up, get some good gear, and stay hot, folks.
Woo!
She just want head in the morning. She just want lay in the daylight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a fresh new episode of Missin Curfew. I'm Shane O'Brien, coming to you from Hall Pass Media in beautiful Newport Beach. We have another great show for you here. Talking Kentucky Derby wrap-up party. Gerard Gallant's our guest. We're talking about World Championships. Bobby Lou being the GM. TNT off to a tough start. Jumbo Joe, 1,100 apples. Sid the Kid, 15 years straight in the playoffs. It's unbelievable. And then obviously the gong show that is Tom Wilson. But first and foremost, my boy, William Scottie Updogg.
Thanks for having me, Obes. It's nice to be in here after a pretty wild weekend, my friend.
Whoa. Wow, that was fun, huh?
Oh, we definitely let it eat. We had a lot of support from our fans, from our friends, from the Balboa Bay Club. But as far as Kentucky Derby party goes, I think that's how you do it.
Wow, that's exactly how you do it. And first of all, we're playing shorthanded today. Our boy, Broadway Jimmy Scoops, had a baby boy. You got the numbers there and name. What is it?
We are welcoming to planet Earth Mr. Mac Kelly Hayes.
Mac Daddy.
He's a big boy. He's 8.5 pounds. Mama's doing good. So shout out to Kirs over there. It's awesome. That's their second boy, and I'm pumped for them. Happy for them. Another little genuine lad to the Missin Curfew team.
Yeah, we have to get some baby stuff for him, maybe. Some Missin Curfew merch, baby style. And then our boy Princey Miles had a baby boy, Miles. Congratulations, you good Alberta Butte up there. Me and you were talking about Princey. This guy, what he does for us is unbelievable. Our social media and everything. So to Princey, congratulations. We missed him on Saturday. We were fumble fucking. And
we sure did. He actually brought up in our little pregame meeting here that I almost gave away our Instagram password on the live set because he was going in. His wife went in labor. And all of a sudden we're a man down, but you know what that's like when your star player goes and gets, a shot in the foot and he's got to go, put some ice on it.
Someone's got to step up.
Someone's going to step up. Well, we sure did. We had Tuck, our boy Tuck in the back. I slid him the password, a little sheet. And we got in there and we kept the fans entertained. And yeah, it was a great weekend, Obes. It was good. I think you win top dress, by the way.
Fuck, yeah. I thought I got there. I got a couple Don Cherry quotes. So, to the Kentucky Derby, we'll do the wrap up. Yeah, everything you just said. And to Eddie O again. Listen, I listened to Eddie O. I took no agenda. Eddie warned us that he hasn't picked one in 8 years. Yeah. And fuck up, I was just starting to feel good with you when the I thought we handled ourselves. Well, maybe more than you because you don't really. But I was like, I'm going to try to pace myself here. So when the Derby race started, I was finally feeling nice. And I remember Eddie O saying about that number 1 spot that he could get hemmed in. And they fucking came out of the gates. And this number 1 looked like me against Obie back in the day in the D zone. He was just like, he couldn't get out. So I was like, my days were done. But
yeah, or trying to take you wide sometimes. You know, you pinch a guy off coming down the wall into the zone. You get that long reach. Well, damn, man, some of those horses that had the tough position off the start, they just couldn't get out. Couldn't get out of the gate.
Couldn't get out of the gate.
And it affected them the long haul. But, good finish. Who did we have win all the money?
Well, listen, so there was this one beauty at your aftershaker. Flowers, of course, got in the money with the horse that won, Medina Spirit or whatever. And then this guy that was at your after party, this tall drink of water.
That's Stu's buddy.
Stu's buddy. He's a fucking, he's a beauty. He said the key to it is down the pipe, 7, 8, 9, the horses that start down the middle, which is, I guess, common knowledge. But now that we know, for next year, when we do our second annual Derby party, we'll have a little bit more. But to all our fans, our sponsors, DraftKings, Patron, Good Life, all of them, Canadips, the Balboa Bay Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. It was a great day. And your aftershaker was National League. That DJ,
sure Mikey,
he fucks.
Our DJ fucks. He sure does. He's back-to-back weekends now. He's played for me at a couple parties, and he stuck around for 12 and a half hours. He played in my kitchen for 12 fucking hours.
Buddy,
no, actually, he played in my kitchen for about 8. We got back there at 5. I think he left at 2:30. And even when we snuck off to dinner, we sneak over to a restaurant. We got a table for 20, and we come in there hot.
Oh yeah.
He's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go home. You guys are coming back, right? I'm like, oh yeah, we're coming back. I'm like, look at all the booze. I just cleaned her up. She's ready to rock for after. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get the lights. I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, I'll have this place dialed when you get back. So he went. He had dinner. He came back. I mean, we walked in. He had the curtains closed. He had the red light shined up the walls. He had the music was still bumping. And, I sent a message to some of my neighbors and shout out to you guys. But I was like, hey, things are going to get a little rowdy here.
Dicey.
Everyone's dressed up nice. The girls, although I don't want them to wear their heels in my house, I have to because they look so good.
Yeah.
But the hats and the outfits, it was a banger.
Everyone looked amazing. To our Big Canyon boys. And the thing about that DJ that was great, he just put his 2 speakers right on top of your fucking island in your kitchen, and he was just hammering that thing. He asked me he's like, hey, if you got any advice for like music, I'm like, buddy, you got this. You don't need my help. So Hall Pass Media, thank you for your hard work in that. And it was a great event. A little bit to charity too, which is great. So Updogg, me and you, for the first time since 2019, went to a baseball game last night. And typically, when we go to a game, we stay for 2 innings and we're ready to get out of there. It was just nice to be back in an open air facility at a sporting event with Loops and Stu. Just how good did that feel?
Yeah, and we were in fine form too. We had a little golf match with
with
Casey,
boy Casey
from TaylorMade and our boy PJ, big guy. We so we have a couple beers on the course. We make our way over to Angel Stadium, Obes, and just like good old times, we're in fine form. We're, a couple dogs, some peanuts, maybe a little too many peanuts. But,
I felt like shit.
You get a chance to just interact. You hear people chirping again. You get to chirp the players. You get to smell like, the just what a baseball game's like. Feel it in the air. And we saw some home runs. Mike Trout.
Trout got us one,
big
thank
dinger.
God.
We should have took maybe the over.
Should have taken the Rays, probably.
I don't know. The Rays,
they
stingy.
We stayed till the 7th. We tried to stay, and then once they got out, the top of the order got out in the 7th, we were like, see you later. So,
but it's good. I love going to a baseball game with you and Loops too, because it's like that's what we did when we first moved here.
Yeah.
We used to go to fucking Angel games. It'd be nice and sunny. Get there, take a couple of babes, get the Diamond Club tickets, have a little dinner, get out there, drink some vino. But it was nice to just be in there and hear the sound of baseball again, and that's good for fans, and I think it's going to be good here down the stretch for what's about to come in hockey too.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of why I brought it up. Obviously, because it was great to be at a sporting event, but fans, we need more fans safely. Of course, listen, we're not saying let's go fucking no one getting tested, no temperature, whatever. But NHL into the playoffs here, we're going to get into fans down the stretch. But it was just nice to be at a ball game. Updogg, you got our guest today, Gerard Gallant, Big Turk, we call him. He was named the head coach of the World Championships by our boy Bobby Lou. Just your thoughts. You played for him a lot longer than I did, but I loved my month and a half I had with him. I think he's perfect for a short tournament like that. He
really is. He's a well-liked guy, and obviously having Bobby Lou as a first-time GM here, and him and Shane Doan picking the coaches. there's no question in my mind they sat back and said, all right, like the kids that are going to come play here, or the guys, they've had a long year. This has been crazy. And we're going to bring that up with Gerard when we talk to him. But who's going to be the guy? Who can lead this 3-week tournament, keep everyone happy? We don't probably know all the rules over in, it's Riga, Latvia. And we'll dive in that with him. But he's just a guy, Obie. If you said exactly, you were there for a month. You enjoyed probably every second with him. He speaks well to the guys. He's a good East Coast guy. I feel like he gets the best out of his players because he's honest. And as an older guy, that's all you ask. So I'm really happy for him. Couldn't have been a better guy for the job. And, we'll dive into, what it'll be like for him to get back behind the bench. Is a little time off. I worked with him at TSN last year, probably this time. Yeah, he got picked up after he got let go by Vegas to come in and do the trade center with us. So we were sitting on the same panel, telling some funny stories. And that's what we'll probably dive into today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's a great players coach, obviously. And the thing I loved about him the most of the time I was up there is just how much he realized that, we got to go out and get a sweat in, right? Let's go and get a sweat in, but let's do some flow drills. Let's do some 2-on-1s. Let's work on the power play. Like, he really took pride in, like, okay, boys, we're a professional club. Obviously, it's a National League, but we don't need to be killing each other down low right now because we play the Montreal Canadiens tomorrow night. So I think, obviously, he's going to get another coaching job in the NHL. And he's perfect. And I want to ask him this about a couple teams that are looking for jobs. If he's more into a team that's going to, knocking on the Stanley Cup door, which I think he's the perfect fit for, or if he wants to maybe dig into a rebuild. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. And our boy Bobby Lou, fucking Bobby Lou, says he's allergic to coming on podcasts. He tells me. I said, fuck, Bobby.
Take a Claritin. Come on,
Bobby. He says, I don't do them. I said, not even for me in the Updogg? He said, no. So anyways, but what about Bobby Lou being the GM of the Worlds? Do you see, I started thinking about this, Uppy, and the more and more I see Bobby Lou on TV, he looks like a GM, right? The hair slicked back, the beard, the suit. Do you see him being an NHL GM in the near future, or is this going to just take it as it comes kind of thing?
I think because he's smart, Obie. He's witty. His
Twitter
experience,
games.
But his experience and his reputation as picture captain goalies in the NHL. There's maybe been 3 or 4 that you would consider like back in the day. You had Marty Brodeur, who probably could have been a guy that wore a letter on his team. You have, I'm just going to say, you have fucking Bobby Lou, who to me was in Vancouver for an extended period of time, didn't wear the C, but was given the captaincy ultimately.
Yeah, no, they put the C right on his jersey.
They put it on his jersey.
For the team picture, not the game. But okay, he was our captain. He was our captain.
So that doesn't happen ever. No. Now, what that says about him is he's respected by the GM, by the owners, by his teammates, by the fans, and a guy like that is a perfect fit for a seat at the boardroom when it comes to making hockey decisions. It comes to making personnel decisions, and Team Canada. I mean, he's been there with them. He knows the drill. He's been the World Championships, been the Olympics. Knows how to organize these things for 2 weeks for the guys. And Shane Doan at the Spengler Cup last year was, an assistant GM to us. And he came in and was incredible. He just was cool, spoke to all the families super well, came on the ice, talked to some of the young guys. And a lot of the guys over there were guys that played, in the Swiss League or the Swedish League or whatever. And seeing Shane Doan was like wow, this is Shane Doan, captain of 13 years in the NHL as a captain, over 1,000 games.
Great teammate,
great guy. So you're going to have some younger players on this World Championships team who comes into the dressing room over in Riga and looks around and goes, wow, it's Roberto Luongo. This is a guy that I watched, win a Stanley or win a gold medal with Team Canada before at the Olympics, like when I was a kid. So those sort of things I like when ex-players who have carried themselves well, who have a good morale. I like when they fit these roles, and I think he's a good one for it.
I agree, and you bring up a great point about when he was named captain of Vancouver, right? I got traded to Vancouver from Tampa, and I get there, and they were trying to lock Louis up to a long-term deal, right? So Mike Gillis is trying to show him how much he means to the Canucks, and they name him captain. And I don't know anybody in this dressing room, but I come in, I'm like, are we fucking serious? We're naming our goalie the captain? And they're like, it'll be fine. And then I got to know the boys. I got to know Bobby Lou. And I love playing with Bobby Lou. And he was one of our biggest leaders. But looking back to those days, when you're a number one goalie in the Canadian market, you got to answer media every single day. and then you put on top that you're the captain of the fucking team. By the end of my second year, when we were going into the second round of Chicago, you could just tell that Louis was like, fuck, like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to continue to answer the same questions. And then the next year, he had to deal with the same thing. And they got to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I just wonder if you asked him deep down, like, did you ever really want to be captain as being the goalie? Like, it was a weird situation. I remember Graves back in the day was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, naming him captain. It was just a lot of pressure for him, Uppy. So, he handled it very well. I loved going to the rink with Bobby Lou. I loved sitting on the plane with him. My only question is, if he's the GM, is he making room service mandatory? Or like, is he like, hey boys, fucking room service, you feel way better. So I think that's a great mix for Team Canada. Riga, Latvia is supposed to be. You've been.
It's fucking
I heard it's a time. But they probably won't be able to experience it.
No, but who knows? Maybe that Eastern European bloc. I mean, we just saw the Russian league give away their
KHL.
Final, KHL give away their championship.
That fucking pigeon Bob Hartley won the fucking.
No, he didn't.
Oh yeah.
I know that.
I said, listen, if you can't understand him, he's probably a good coach, right? Yeah. I mean, if you can't speak the language, I wouldn't.
If you could swear at him all day in Russian, it's probably great.
I would love what they were saying behind his back, but he did win it, Bob Hartley, you pigeon. But wow, yeah.
What if he comes back in the NHL now after that?
I'll be ripping him every day. Uppy, did you? I was never, probably good enough to. Well, I wasn't good enough to play world. Did you enjoy it? I never had near the end of my career, I probably would have wanted to go to the World Championships. I was in the playoffs a lot young. Did you enjoy it, or were you like ready for the summer? Because it's a long tournament. It's like 3 weeks, right? I remember O'Reilly would be there for a month. I'm like, fact daddy, let's go. Summer's going, baby.
You know what? It all plays, it plays into a role. Like some guys who know their season's done by Christmas, they look forward to it. The Ryan O'Reillys, when he was in Buffalo, I'm sure he was like, oh my God, this is like, I can't wait to go to Switzerland and see some of the guys and actually play meaningful games again, right? Wear the Canadian jersey. There's something really special about that. Now, if you lose out in the second round and all of a sudden you have Bobby Lou calling you and going, hey, can you jump on the first plane? You haven't seen your family in a while. It's been a tough year with COVID. Can you jump on a plane to Riga and meet us for, the last 2 games of the round robin and then the playoffs? You're probably like, hell no. But, if you're given the circumstances, the Olympics are coming up. If the NHL does send some guys to the Olympics, this is a great stage for all these younger players to really size up. Cale Makar would probably want to go, although he's a shoe-in for a job on the Canadian NHL Olympic team. But
yeah, if you're a guy that's wants to be on the Olympic squad, you want to go.
You want to go.
I think that's why Factor did it all the time, because he realized that like World Cup he wanted to be part of, and eventually on the Olympic team. I think it makes sense then.
Shea Weber, Drew Doughty, they set themselves apart at my World Championships. I was with these guys. They played together. They were 2 right-hand shots on the same power play. They ran our defense, and they both were, Webbs might have been 24 and Doughty was 20, but they were like, these guys can play on the international stage on the big ice, and they can be leaders on this team. They're watching, they watch Shane Doan. Donor was our captain, but all of a sudden you're like, these players need this sort of atmosphere. They need to feel the pressure again of not just World Juniors, but like of playing against men and the speed of an international game in order for these, the Doug Armstrongs of the world to see them and pencil them in without question.
Yeah.
Those guys are, it's crucial. I remember Armstrong was the GM of the Olympics when it was just in, it was in Russia, right? Sochi was the last. Was that the last Olympics?
Sochi and then Vancouver. Maybe. I think so.
And so Army was like, you know what? I want to look at. He was telling me I want to look at Scheifele, and I want to see who's been sniping all the fucking G's for Montreal this year. That I just
Suzuki?
can't think of. No, from right hand shot from LA.
Toffoli.
Yeah, he's like, all of a sudden Toffoli might have a chance, but I haven't really seen him play over in international hockey. But I got to consider him. So because Toffoli was in the playoffs every year, winning a Stanley Cup, not getting a chance to get on that stage, you have certain guys that just kind of doubt whether he's a pencil, is he shoe-in, or is he a guy that I really he better be playing really good up until I have to choose this team come Christmas. Because I just haven't seen him on the international ice yet. So a lot of things. And then it's just a great time. I brought my brother Brento over there. We're in Switzerland. We went skiing after. We went to Amsterdam. We had this like epic little tour, 2 single guys just buzzing around Europe together. So there is a really cool thing that Team Canada and Gerard Gallant will experience this too with the families and stuff. And even though COVID's around still, I still think it'll be a great opportunity for all these guys to enjoy it.
Yeah, back when we first got broke in the NHL, I remember these guys, even like 5 years before us, they would go over the World Championships for Canada, and the other countries weren't very strong. They'd pump them, and they would just be a full gong show.
The first 10 days.
Yeah.
The first 10 days, you're literally just finding the cool bars in town.
Yeah.
Kind of getting your lay of the language and the language barrier. Finding a couple of good restaurants. But even the Team Canada just organizes such a great hotel.
Oh, I bet.
A little event. Like today, we're going to go, this downhill luge or whatever. And I mean, we stayed in this beautiful mountain town in Switzerland, and we lined up golf, like me, St. Louis, Stammer, and my bro went golfing one day. Mm-hmm. So you do have free time, right? So it's the whole experience, but ultimately playing for your country is the ultimate. It's really even hard to compare playing for like an NHL team when you have a chance to play with some of the best players for your country.
Yeah, it's got to be a great feeling. I was never lucky enough, but I remember chirping Ryan Smith. I'd be like, do you really think you're Captain Canada, bud? Like, mix in a playoff appearance, all right, buddy? Like, you're not Captain Canada, all right? Like, fuck, you played 12 straight World Championships, but whatever. To those boys, good luck. Can't wait to talk to Gerard and Bobby Lou. Come on, buddy. Come on the pod for the boys. Updogg, we were pumping TNT's tires, pumping them while we were like, let's just fire it up. Boys, we want jobs. They dropped the ball early with their first, like, commercial or advertising of it. They have Ovi and what they thought was Connor McDavid with Andrew Ferentz. I just thought it was kind of funny. Listen, they'll learn as they go. But I know you want to talk about McDavid.
Who doesn't want to talk about McDavid?
Man, this guy, like, what this guy is doing, man. The goal he scored the other night against Calgary, like, he got it in the neutral zone. He was absolutely flying. There was 3 guys. They had him, like, in the old little diamond or whatever, like, boxed in, and he went, put it through their guy and went short side titty on Markstrom. Like, you have a great stat of the first time this is going to happen. Did you say in NHL history about what McDavid's doing?
Yeah, my brother sent it to me the other day just saying, hey, McDavid's about to be the first NHLer ever to have more points in a single season than the top penalty minutes guy. And when you think about that, has the game changed? Well, maybe, but there's been a lot of fights this year.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of penalties being called. So you would think that the meatheads out there are still doing their thing, getting their 10-minute misconducts, getting their fighting majors. And ultimately getting over 120 PIMs, right? Well, no. Connor McDavid is at 93, and Max Domi, who's leading the league, I think is at 73.
73 points.
So it's a runaway unless Domi gets back in the lineup and just starts going full donkey. And we'll get into this, but there are a few guys in the league just going full donkey right now. So
he's got 93 points. You went on your Jason radio show, I believe, last week. And you're like, he's going to get over 100. 2 weeks ago.
I missed last week.
Sorry, and he was going to get over 100 points at that time. And I think he was at 80 when you said it, or maybe. And I was like,
he was probably 82.
I'm like, fuck up, yeah. I don't know if. And then all of a sudden, boom, he went on tear. What do you have? 2 last night against Vancouver. He's going to do it, right, Ups? He's going to get over 100.
Yeah, he's got 5 games left now, mind you. 3 against Van, 2 against Montreal. Do you rest Connor McDavid? Yeah, you probably give him a game off. You probably rest him 1 game in Montreal. That's the team you play in the playoffs. It's probably going to be ramped up. Yeah. There's no need for him to play all the. I don't think. Do you? I don't think.
I mean, if he doesn't have 100 points, he's probably going to want to play. But if he gets over 100, he'll be like, "Fuck, I'll take the night off." But if he's at 99 with 1 game left, he'll be like, "Give me the first period, and then I'll sit me on the bench the rest of the night." Right? Because he wants to get 100 now. It's talked about. I mean,
he's going to get 100.
He would in an 82 game season. He would get. He's on pace to get 100 assists. The only people who do 100 assists are Wayner, Bobby Orr, and there was one more that I'm forgetting. But that's elite company, 100 apples in one season. If it was 82 game season, he was on pace for 100 apples. Like that's insane.
Well, just picture what next year or the year after is going to be like. He's not even in his prime.
I know,
yet.
That's scary, man.
Connor McDavid has the cheat code to the video game he's playing in, and it's no one else's cheat code. It's his. He's speed burst. He's strength. He's shooting. He's passing. He's winning battles. It's Connor McDavid's doing things now that a lot of people have doubted him. And Wayne Gretzky. You tune into how Wayne kind of talks about Connor, right? And Wayne's like, I don't have much advice for him, but I do tell him one thing, what my dad told me. Shoot more. And Connor's been shooting more and he's been scoring more. 30 goals. He's still dishing pucks, but he's making the smart play. He's coming in on 2-on-1s, and yes, he could probably put it anywhere on the guy's stick, but he's shooting it. He's creating more chances from shots too this year than he ever has, and it's special to watch. We're watching history in the making. The best NHLer to ever play this game in a long, long time is playing hockey right in front of our eyes.
It's fucking insane what he's doing. And like at the start of the year, there was a debate who the best player in the world was, right? Draisaitl, McDavid, MacKinnon. There was a little bit of a debate. There's no debate. It's over. I mean, you ask any guy. You heard Patty Kane. Patty Kane was having a Hart Trophy season. He fucking died off a bit, but he was like 3 months ago or 2 months ago. Like he's going, what Connor McDavid's doing it's insane. So I mean, he is, and what you said is the scariest part, Uppy. Like he's not even at his prime yet. Like he's going to continue to get stronger. I don't know how he could get faster, but if he does that, like guys can't stop him. It's insane.
I think people are quick to forget just over a year and a half ago what Connor McDavid was going through. He was hurt.
True. He was
banged up. He spent 5 months in the summer seeing doctors, having doctors tell him they might need surgery, may not need surgery, listening to trusted guys. I mean, Edmonton at the time didn't even know there was a fracture in his knee. And what he put himself through for rehab, you know, and we all got to watch it. Sportsnet did a hell of a job really covering that, and Adidas. But, you know, the hyperbaric chamber, getting MRIs all the time, getting, you know, consistently, you know, treated day in, day out, nutrition, working with Gary Roberts, working with different, you know, Mark Lindsay. He dove in, and had he not have put in all that time, who knows what Connor McDavid would be doing right now. But to see where he is, today and the absolute domination he's you know portraying on this league, it's insane.
It's insane. It's good for hockey. TNT, ESPN, get him on as many U.S. games next year as you can. Prime time. Let's get more eyeballs on Connor McDavid. Updogg, Joe Thornton, Jumbo Joe. This was a guy that, you know, when I played against him, I don't know if you ever did this, but I was like, if there's one guy I could be in the NHL, who would I want to be? And it was Joe Thornton for me. It was his size. It was his skill. It was he didn't wear a visor. He was unbelievable in the face-off circle. He worked the half wall. And then if you wanted to chuck him, Jumbo would chuck him with you, right? Bumped into him in Vegas with you for a quick sec. He stumbled onto our table, and I was on a different planet. But I was talking, hey, Jumbo, what's up, buddy? He just got his 1100 apple. We talked about Patty Marleau a couple weeks ago. It's unbelievable what Patty Marleau's done. I said my little piece about Gordie Howe, but Jumbo, 1100 apples, oldest guy to score in Maple Leafs history. I'm pulling for the Leafs for two reasons. I grew up a Leafs fan. I think maybe three reasons. I think Sheldon Keefe's a good young coach, and I want to see Jumbo Joe hoist the mug, right? I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but for me, Jumbo, congratulations. You're an unbelievable guy, great player, and Uppy, that was the one guy when I was like, if I could switch spots with anyone, it probably would have been Joe Thornton.
Yeah, I loved facing off against this guy all the time. I mean, playoff time, I faced him a couple times in the playoffs. They've got the better of me twice. But
yeah, they did, huh?
You know what? He engages. He's been the hockey guy that you know chirps. He gets his team going. He's got the fucking best playoff beard on planet Earth.
Jesus,
the ones him and
Burnsy.
Disgusting, but
stinky,
epic, right? You know, hell yeah, buddy. It's a hell of a run. Keep her going. You got a playoff run left in you. Stay healthy. You know, my dad's a big Leafs fan. Always has, always will be. Canada needs a Maple Leaf run. Toronto needs it. You know, they haven't had one in a long time. So our boy Loops was there.
But Loops still losing sleep over that Game 7.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So you know what? Playoff time's right around the corner, Robes. We got lots. We got lots to dive into here with playoff hockey coming down the stretch, and you know, there's going to be a lot of great storylines in the NHL. And TNT, ESPN, you know, tune in, really dive into what our game is and how it can be, and our stars that we have, and just how amazing playoff hockey is, how the fans love it, what it's going to be like when when fans come back in the building. You know, there's a lot of excitement in around hockey right now, and you know, we got summer coming up with playoff hockey right in the middle of it. It's going to be epic.
Fucking golf, right? Golf, big Canadian Men's Grill. Right to watching hockey with the Updogg. I can't wait. Talking about stinky beards. Remember Greg Zanon? Of course, you play with Greg Zanon. And listen, I'll be honest, when I first played with Greg Zanon, I was out of the lineup in fucking the lockout year in Colorado. I just signed a big ticket. This guy comes in and he's just blocking shots with his face. I'm like, easy, buddy, whatever. I played with him the next year in the minors or a couple years later. He's a good guy. He had this long beard that he was growing for, I believe, charity or something. But I sat beside him in the room, and there was probably some mornings I stunk too for different reasons. But his beard, it was stinky and smelly because he was just like a... By the end of the year, I'm like, dude, you got to fucking shave that. He's like, I am for charity. I'm like, you're stinking up the room, bud. You're stinking up the room. So
it was like a red-haired, like wiry. His poor wife Jen.
Oh
God, imagine sleeping next to that.
Yeah, I was stinky.
There's probably fucking animals and insects in there.
He's a good guy, Greg Zen. He played hard. He blocked biscuits.
You can hear him from here.
I would, yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes I'd be like, Z, if you just go out with a stick on puck there, your hand won't be broken tomorrow. Like his fingers, like it was crazy what he would do. So
where did you play with him in the minors?
San Antonio.
So you had him Nashville.
No, I had him in Colorado the lockout year. I had a horrendous year. Our team stunk. I really didn't give him a fair shake, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I played with him in San Antonio. We were both been NHLers for a long time, and he was our captain down there. And I just grew to appreciate how hard he played throughout his career, and that he blocked shots because he had to, right? And he did it in the minors too. And that's when I was like, all right. I'm like, this guy, he's been in the NHL for 10 years. And now he's still in the American League on a 3-and-3 blocking a 100-mile clapper. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So that's
was he wearing the C down there?
Yeah, he was our captain.
He was our captain in the minors too.
Yeah, he would have been a good coach. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. So Jumbo, 1,100 apples, oldest guy to score in Maple Leaf history. Way to go, you old prick. Updogg, man. At the start of the year, I was like, this is the year that Pittsburgh and Sid, they're not going to make playoffs. They don't have enough depth. I was completely wrong. What Sidney Crosby, we talk about McDavid and MacKinnon and Matthews. These guys are obviously the superstars now. But Sidney Crosby, listen, that's what I get for betting against them. 15 years straight, they made the playoffs. They're absolutely rolling right now. I had Phil Bourque on the power play a couple weeks ago, and he talked about their defense is solid. Their depth is good. Just how impressive. It's 15 years straight making the playoffs. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, I just pulled up the standings here, Obes, and it's... for them to up top this division right now,
I know
73 points, 54 games. They got a couple points left. There's a chance they win this division. And tip your cap to Berkey. Tip your cap to Ron Hextall coming in. What they did and the ownership group. I mean, Burkle. If it was his decision at the time to change things right now and right then. At the middle of the season, the middle of a COVID year where you're like, maybe it's just not our.
You're already dealing with enough stuff.
It's just a lot going on. All of a sudden, you're gonna pay the GM to leave.
That's true. That's a great point.
And Rutherford kind of stepped down, did he not?
He did step down. But
still,
you could have you could have made an interim guy, been like, hey, listen, we'll ride this out. Next year, we'll hire a new GM. We can blame COVID. We didn't have the depth. He said, fuck it, I'm bringing in Berkey. And it was cool when we had Berkey on, and he was like. I believe the owner or somebody, president, or Mario was maybe asking him, like, who do you think for the GM? And then they're like, what about presidents? And they're like, why not Berkey? And Berkey loved being at Sportsnet, but went in there. And I mean, just for me, Crosby, man, to like be that hungry and motivated. And
you can't, but this is the thing too, is Pittsburgh, you need to realize you still have Sidney Crosby at 34 years old, right? Yeah. 35. He's not getting younger, but why not keep pouring it in? Mm-hmm. Like, now's your time. You already have the dynasty. Yes. 3 cups, right? You have 3 the dynasty.
Cups. Back to back.
Why not get 4? Yeah. You might have a chance. If Malkin's healthy, your goaltender gives you a run, your team just hits like the gas pedal at the right time, which they have. They're a legit contender right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you need to know, and good GMs probably know this, is that when your players, you see your player day in, day out, your star players, when they get that look in their eye again, that they miss winning and they miss like that playing in front of, those important games, having the puck on their stick, and you can still see that in their eyes. You got to put the team around them to still let them try to win. And I think that's what Berkey did. He probably realized right from the minute he got to Pittsburgh that I got to give these guys a chance to keep going. I'm not trading Letang. No chance. I'm keeping Letang. I'm letting Crosby run. Malkin's going to be my guy. I'm going to put pieces in and around him. At the trade deadline, we'll help our team, but we're not going to give away everyone. Let's, it's what they've done.
Speaking about added pieces, I wrote down here because I was watching a game the other night, and I thought Carter was going to play the wing. But right now, when Malkin's first came back, down the middle, they had Crosby, Malkin, Carter. I mean, that's 3 Stanley Cup winning champions, gold medal winning guys.
How many cups?
Malkin
There
has
was
won a gold.
12.
I
How
mean,
many
like,
cups between the
yeah,
two?
like
6,
if you have those 3 guys down the middle,
8 cups.
Jari kicking, their back end is pretty good, man. With Tangzer number 1, they got the other 5 are pretty solid. I mean, listen, give Sully credit behind the bench too. Mike Sullivan, he's done a good job coaching. It's really impressive, and that's what I get for betting against Sid. It's interesting to see. I think they may win the East, and that whole East division's up for grabs come playoff time. But Updogg, Nathan MacKinnon, who is still probably my favorite player to watch right now. Listen, I got my money on the Avs, right? I think they're the best team in the West. Their injury bug has hurt them. Last year dismantled them in the return to play. Listen, I love MacKinnon. I love that he's willing to drop the gloves, but he fights the other night against this LeBlanc from San Jose. Should he be fighting? I thought, I got to ask Uppy this question. Like, heading into the playoffs, I love it, MacKinnon, but if I'm the coach there, I'm like, hey, maybe just keep the gloves on until playoff time because there's no fighting there anyways.
2 things on this. I think he should not be fighting, no. Yeah. I think he is a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's energetic. He wants to win. He's super competitive. And that being competitive means he wants to engage. You break your hand, you fuck your team. Yeah. You have a great team. You have a great chance at winning. Let Kadri fight. Let someone else on your, third.
Let that Liam O'Brien, that little meat stick.
Let those guys fight. They like fighting. Yeah. They would love a chance to stick up for you. LeBlanc,
fuck off, LeBlanc.
If it's Carlson in his heyday, do you pump his eyes shut? Maybe, yeah. But LeBlanc, no.
Yeah, exactly. Don't waste your time on it.
Second, other teams watch this. Okay, other teams know. Okay, we got Colorado in the playoffs. I'm going to engage with. I can get MacKinnon off his game. I know I can get him to drop his gloves. I know I can, I can get under his skin. When you're that top guy and you're doing that, you're not doing it because you want to pick up your team and they're losing 3-1 in game 5. Yeah, that's the Ryan Getzlaf move. Is him and Joe Thornton were fighting tonight just because I need my team to spark. No, you're fighting because you're just so wound up. That tipping point and that edge is what other guys can see. A smart other player on another team will be like I would have went up and just tried to get under his skin, and maybe he reacts and drops his gloves with me. That in the playoffs can't have that. So I'm not saying that will transition in the playoffs, but other people see it, and I guarantee it was addressed by his coach.
It's a great point by you. Great point. When you think of McDavid, you probably wouldn't get him off his game. It's something that if you're in the dressing room, you're like, hey boys, stay on MacKinnon.
Totally.
He might get off his game. And you just made me realize of the Detroit Red Wings back in the day. Like me, especially when I was in Nashville, whenever playing the playoffs, but trying to get them off their game, cross-checking them, trying to get them to fight, nothing. They were just zoned in, playing, and it almost pissed you off more that they wouldn't react to me trying to get a reaction out of them. They were just okay. We're here to win a hockey game, So that's a great point by you. Moving into the playoffs, it's something that Colorado's got to think about because they have to stay healthy and they need MacKinnon on the ice. Uppy. Your boy, Rob Bertuzzo, Bobo, this fucking beauty.
We might have to give him his own segment on this show. He's really been stepping it up lately.
Stepping it up. So I take
Bob.
I take the Blues on Tuesday night at minus fucking 240 or something, right?
Yeah, you did.
They're out there. They get one early. Then Sammy Blaze, who I love, turns a pizza over to Ryan Getzlaf from the ladies' tees. He snaps it by Binner. And they're flat. They're flat. And then Bobo goes to the net, stays in there sniffing, rips it by Gibby. They end up winning 3-1 on an empty netter by Factor. But the couple games before, he fights twice against Greenway and Foligno. Just talk about, because let's be honest, sometimes out there it ain't pretty, but he's just a team fucking guy.
He is a team guy. And after that match where he sniped that goal, he calls me. We're at a restaurant and we're just fucking lit up.
Nice.
And me and Flowers are trying to talk to him. He's got the beard going. He's got the Rob Bob hair just everywhere. And he's in a good mood, eh? He's in a good mood. And I love when the Blues get rocking because it feeds down throughout their group. They don't just have 3 guys that do all the work there. And that's why I love that team, is because their success is found through their whole group. And Bertuzzo is a big part. He scored an incredible goal against San Jose in the conference finals, if you recall, just absolutely dangling and then ripping a backhander shelf. That goal goes down as one of the biggest goal of his life.
I had to rewind it to make sure it was him.
I was going to a concert that night with Loops in LA, and we were watching at this little Korean barbecue place. And I see this happen, and I'm like, what are we watching right now? Zeb Bertuzzo just went in and went backhand shelf in like game 5 of the fucking conference finals. And yes, it was. So we're giving him his own segment because he's a beauty. And the Blues are pushing. I think they can, I think they can clinch tonight.
The Blues are fucking.
The Blues are fucking.
I went to that Korean barbecue place one time. I was like, hey, Loops, a Korean barbecue place. But I was going on a date. I brought flowers. Not a place you want to go before a date.
No.
Oh, man.
Why was it stinky or stinky after?
I didn't feel great after. I was like, oh, yeah.
You eat a lot of meat. It's like those Brazilian barbecue
It's just not a great first. It's not a great spot.
Like Fogo de Chao, where you just flip the green light or the red light over for more food.
Big Earn went to Fogo de Chao a couple of times back in the jungle, and I text him after. He's like, how you doing, big boy? He's like, I got the meat sweats, big boy. I got the meat sweats. And then I see him in the morning at morning skate. He's like, I still got the meat sweats, big boy. So Bobo to the Blues. We're pulling free here. I just thought Uppy, like, to fight those two guys. Yeah. They're playing Colorado the other night. They beat Colorado twice back to back. He takes a run at Landeskog. And I love Landy, and Landy's a good-looking cat. He doesn't need any more scratches on his face. But Bobo hits him, cuts him above the nose. Yeah, it's a penalty. But that's Bertuzzo coming back in the lineup being like, hey, all right, boys, this is the time of year that I'm getting paid for. Landy's on the bench, cursing. It's the little things that guys like that bring to a team like that this time of year that I just thought we got to talk about him because he's such a good dude. And I love that he just stayed in there sniffing the puck came right to him. So.
And one good thing about Bobo as a D-man, he has such good, and you might laugh because you just see him like goofy looking out there, but he has offensive instincts, like where I'd be like, Bobo, what are you doing? And he hangs in there and he floats. And if a winger or a D isn't paying attention, he's in goal scoring chance. And like, he'll always kind of like do this like weird, goofy, fake slapper, but he makes the right plays. It's a big reason why, Doug Armstrong's kept him around and gave him a 3-year deal right, after he knocked out.
After he punched out Sanford in practice.
But there's a reason why, a guy like him will be around the game for a long time, will move into a role either with player development or coaching at one point, because he's a respected, well-liked, smart, and can dish the puck and score goals when he wants.
He does have offensive instinct. I see him sniffing there and come down the wall, make good pinches. But yeah, Bobo, keep her going, buddy. Blues, fact daddy, keep fucking. We got a great race in the Central Blender. First of all, I want to ask you on the Dallas perspective. Seguin came back. His video, I know you went through a terrible knee injury. Just the thoughts of him coming back and seeing what he went through.
Yeah, no, what Tyler went through with his hip and then his knee, I had no idea actually it was the 2 surgeries, but the video that they put together, a little montage for all the ladies out there, letting them know Sagan's back.
Yeah.
And back full
Panty
force.
soup in the crowd, isn't it?
I mean, it was, after watching what Connor went through, I did it. I had 9 months recovery with really no end in sight.
I was helping you.
Yeah, you were there.
You had 2 nurses and the big olds, eh?
Well, I mean, if I couldn't get any of my buddies to come bring me something, I was
bringing you something.
You came by a couple
I was
times.
hilarious. I got to tell the story. I come by, typical Upshall fashion. Ups is like, come over, watch the game. I'm staying at Vinny Smith's house because it was 1 floor for you. And I show up, and the beauty's got 2 nurses in there. I'm like, and the one nurse says, some girl that we met like 3 weeks ago that I think I was probably trying to take a run at. You're like, she's nursing for me. So anyways.
She did tell me she was a nurse. She had huge tits too.
Oh my God.
So what he went through with, it's nice for people to just see because, last year in the playoffs, everyone was like, what's wrong with Sagan? He's not doing anything, right? Well, these guys get banged up. We get banged up, Obes. And then the path back to what you were and who the new you is all about work, man. It's all about getting the right treatment. It's all about putting in the effort and, to see the work that he did. And, and I was in the pool a lot, but you see the rehab, you see the surgery, you see the scars, you see the first time on the ice, you see the first time he shoots a puck again. And then it slowly goes into like being in practice, all your teammates welcoming me back, your first game, your first goal back. And then all of a sudden you're a new you. And that is sports 101. It's the breakdown and the build back up again. Not everyone stays healthy. Not everyone's Patrick Marleau and plays games till you're 50.
Yeah, 900
it's
fucking
hard.
straight.
It's hard, and the video is sweet. It's nice to have him back in the lineup. They're in a hell of a race with Nashville. It can be, it really can be anyone's game, and those 2 teams are built alike. They both have battled along, in that Central Division for a while. I think Dallas is a more veteran team, but I think Nashville right now has the upper hand to get in.
I agree. And for me, I never had a surgery. I was lucky to come through my whole career. I never had one. When I saw that video, and I guess I saw it with you too when you first got your PCL done, when he could hardly walk. Like after 5 days of, he couldn't even walk. And I thought about it, I'm like, man, that's got to be going from being one of the best players in the NHL to you can't walk. It's got to be mentally tough. So that's what I saw that blew me away. So to him, congratulations. It's a great race. Nashville has the edge. I think Nashville's going to get in. If they do, I'm hearing playoffs are starting May 15th, and they have a green light May 14th. Sold out barn. The Bridgestone Arena is going to be rocking. More teams. We're going to talk about competitive edge. We'll talk about it next week. But more teams learn from this. If Nashville's going to have a full barn, that whole division's probably going to have fans in the Central. But it's great for hockey. I don't know who I hope gets in there because they're both veteran teams, like you said. But fans in Nashville, May 14th is unbelievable.
Well, let's just say this. Let's act like which city do we want to go in to do another live show? That's who we want to go in.
I know.
I want to say it's Nashville.
I know. Dallas is fun too.
We got the Troubadour, a little Discovery property there. We can clip that off. We can go hit a new show at the Roof.
Oh,
hey, Tin Roof, we're coming in. We're bringing the camera guys. We're going to do another fucking, top titty show for the playoffs. Maybe
live from the Tin Roof would be unbelievable.
Kidding me? Games 3 and 4. Maybe we hit both and then have a couple beers after.
More than a couple.
Max, what do you think?
More than a couple beers.
Yeah, more than a couple.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. So
we'll call our boy Walks for some tickies. Getting that little, they get that Lexus Lounge downstairs. See what's hacking.
Flowers got kicked out of that Lexus Lounge when we were down there for being just Flowers. But Walks is the man.
He is the man.
He's the best. What's his job? What's his job?
He's team services guy.
He's the best.
He's the guy that sets up all the hotels for their team, for the coaches. He makes sure the plane is on time. He makes sure the buses are there. At the start of the year, his job from the moment the season ends until the moment the season begins is to make sure all the travel, all the kids, all the draft picks and their families get their flights. I mean, it's everything. Yeah. So to the Walks and to all the guys out there that I've ever had that are the team services guys, hardware in Nashville or in Philly, great guy. Yeah. Shout out to you guys. You get a lot of effort, but the more you guys hook up the boys, the more tips you get. So they figured that out. Yeah, the good guys know where to send the boys. Yeah,
Walks is a beauty. And shout out to our boy Brad Richardson's finally back in the lineup. Guy's been banged up all year because he's fucking a warrior, but he's back. This is going to be good for him. This is why they signed Richie, so I'm glad to see 15 back out there humming. Updogg, we're getting close to playoffs, like you're saying. And me and Cools talk about this a lot on the power play. And he asked me, and I want to ask you, do season series matter, right? Like for me, let's say I was in Vancouver. Like the 1 year St. Louis was the best team in the second half, and they beat us the last 2 times we played them. It could have been St. Louis or I can't remember the other team. And I was like, let's not play St. Louis. And we ended up playing them and beating them. But to me, seasons, they mattered, right? If I could play against a team that personally I had success against, and as a team, I'd rather face them in the playoffs. Were you like that? Or come playoff time, you're like, it don't matter if you beat us 4 out of 4 or 2 out of 4. It's game 1. Nothing matters.
I think it's more, to me, Obie, no, it didn't matter. To my team, the morale, maybe the goalie, maybe my star player getting a little bit struggling against them. There's so many factors in hockey that go into, your confidence against one single team. What the Oilers have done to the Winnipeg Jets this year is a prime example. I think they beat them 6 times. They absolutely own them. So coming playoff time, does Winnipeg want to fall off and play Toronto first round? Maybe. They might have a better chance. Less travel. No Connor McDavid. Yes, deal with Matthews. But, when a team has your number, you have to consider, do we want them in the first round or do we try to get through another team in the first round and perhaps meet them in the second? Because ultimately you got to beat, if it's not that team, you're going to have to beat 3 more to get to the cup, right? It's, but you do touch on it. It is a thing. It's a mental thing that a lot of kind of guys probably can't kick.
Yeah, it's happening in the North Division a lot, right? Like Montreal's record against Edmonton is 5-2, and then their record against Toronto is 3-6 or something, right? So if you're looking at it this time of year, you're like, fuck, although I don't know why you'd want to, Toronto or Edmonton, pick your poison, but it's something that, I don't know, I used to think about. I used to be like, man, if we could just play Detroit or whatever. I remember Nashville, if fucking Vancouver would have beat Chicago in Game 7, would have had Detroit in the second round. It would have just been so huge instead of having to go into Vancouver and not all that shit show that was up there. So it's something to think about. And from your perspective, goaltending, I think, is a big part of it too, right? If your goalie feels good against a certain team and you match up,
it's everything.
You feel better.
Yeah, I agree. And then your coach knows how to properly match lines and, know when to send toughness out, know which guys to pick on, And I used to love before playoffs. I used to love like the meetings where you got a couple days in advance. Usually you end on Sunday, you play Wednesday. That first meeting, come in, they give you the folder, each guy. This is the team we're playing. Inside each folder is the guy that you need to match up against, right? Yeah. I used to love it. Being a young guy, you get the sheet and all of a sudden it's like, all right, you have Zach Parise. I'm like, okay, sweet. I'm in Philly, and my sole job is to play hard against Zach Parise because I'm going to be a checking line, and he's going to be their goal scorer. And every time I can, I got to be on him, stick on him, slash him, be in his face, chirp him. And if I did that, I helped my team win. And if I stayed out of the box, each guy kind of has their sole job, and then collectively you feel confident going in, and your coaches feels like, okay, we've given them the game plan. Let's let them rock. They got to try. They got to take the train now and fucking move it.
That's awesome when they give you that little pamphlet. I remember our second year in Vancouver, played Chicago again in the second round, and AV comes in the day before Game 1, and this is not typical AV fashion. He's like, Obie, you got Bufflin. Horty, you got Eager. Ripper, you got so and so. First fucking shift, first period, go out and try to fight them all. Get right in their face. If you take a penalty, I don't care. And I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they didn't fight us, but whatever. It was just AV's way of saying, listen, I hate these guys as much as you do, because AV wasn't a big, tap you on the shoulder and go out and fight type of guy. He respected, he wanted guys to play physical, but he was trying to send a message to us that, hey, these guys beat us last year. We've had a line brawl with them this year. Fuck these guys. Let's go out and show it to them. So that was, same as you. I'm like, all right, here we go. I got big Buff first shift. Buff didn't fight me because he was too busy scoring goals. But it's the series within the series, which you bring up, which is super cool. So, Updogg, our last segment here, presented by our good friends at Good Life. I got some nice green Good Life shorts on right now.
I wore the blue little Henley today.
Yeah,
we're going to
talk about the Tom
baby butter, baby.
We're going to talk about the Tom Wilson seg, whatever you want to call it. But it's presented by Good Life. It's just
the old Tommy boy.
Tommy boy. I You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You should dive in, because this is something right up your alley. Yeah. Your wires, we both are guys that wires cross.
Yeah.
I have it. You have it. I've seen you have it a little more than me, but we're intense. It's part of the game. So dive in. Okay. Let us hear it. Everyone's kind of had their piece at this, right? Yeah. And now it's our turn.
I've been dying to not dying, but first of all, let me say this. I was shocked he didn't get suspended, right? Just because of who he was. I didn't think it was a suspension. I thought they were going to ding him a couple games just because it was Tom Wilson. The second thing I have a problem with is a fine for roughing. All right? It's hockey. Roughing is a 2-minute penalty. All right? Or a double minor for roughing. That's what it is. I have a hard time finding a guy for roughing. Third, listen, we know what Tom Wilson does. Was it a little gutless? Yeah, maybe. Was it a bully move? Absolutely. For me, he bullied Panarin. He bullied the other Russian kid on when he was on top of him. Listen, I did it to Burrows when I was in Colorado, when he was in Vancouver. I pushed Burrows' face right into the ice as hard as I can, proving a point to stay out of the blue paint. And third, for the New York Rangers, listen, I've watched you guys play a lot lately. You have so much skill up front. You need to work on your defensive game. That's going to come with time. Get some guys in there. You traded away fucking Brandon Lemieux. We call him meat. Whatever, you trade him. That was your decision. Get some guys in there to protect your fucking skilled guys. Do not let Tom Wilson do this. Don't complain that George Parros should be fired and this is a joke and all this stuff. No, address it. It was fucking Tom Wilson bully your players around. Next year, the GM bring in some guys that can protect your young guys. Tom Wilson, was it a bully move? Yeah. Would I do the same thing? Probably. So I'm not going to blame Tom Wilson. That's his game. New York Rangers, shut your mouth, get some tough guys in there and protect these young players.
Why was it the New York Rangers issue a statement? Why wasn't it the fucking coach or the fucking GM or, I've heard some of their players come out and say it's a bully move.
Yeah.
The New York Rangers, you make your whole organization look like you're a bunch of fucking phonies, I think. Now, Tom Wilson's a bully. He's going to do this. His job is to score goals, get under your skin. He didn't elbow a guy in the head. He had a scrum in front of a net. If you're Busnevich or however you want to pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think
Busnevich. I used to fucking chirp him too. If you're in the blue paint and the puck is loose and the goalie goes to cover it and you whack him, if you're there trying to score a goal, and it's a good place to go if you want to score goals.
Yeah, that's
Tough
how you,
guys
that's
go there.
how you score goals.
Tough guys go there.
Yeah.
You are going to get beat up after if you're doing that, okay? And it's happened for years and years and years. Tom Wilson, if he's the guy on top of you, then heads up.
Yeah.
Okay, so he gives him an extra shot. He punches him in the back of the head. I seen Sidney Crosby do it the other night. It happens almost every game, especially in a scrum. There can't be a fine or a suspension for a scrum unless a guy gets absolutely suckered from behind. Cole clocked in the
Bertuzzi style.
Bertuzzi style, or when Kadri kind of did it in the playoffs. Something that is
that was a sucker punch.
That's a sucker punch.
Yeah.
I'm talking
sucker punch is different.
In a scrum, when and then after, if you're Panarin, and Panarin's actually pretty fucking tough. I know that because he fought me after I did a fucking 2-minute fucking penalty killing shift.
Princey, pull up this fight when you can.
I'm getting worked by the fucking Chicago Blackhawks top line on the PK, me and Brodziak. And I go down, it's 2 minutes, fucking tic-tac-toe, shot, Allen save. Tic-tac-toe, shot from Kaner, Allen save. Puck goes behind our net, and I come down on the PK, and I take a slap shot, and I finally get it out as we're clearing the penalty 2 minutes in. Panarin comes and absolutely runs me. My helmet flies off behind the net. So he ran me after working me for 2 minutes on the PK. I fucking slashed him in the back of the leg, skating off. Fuck you. We're going. And he drops his gloves. I'm like, oh God, I could barely breathe. And we tussle. He can throw. I watch videos of him online. He's a little tough little fucker.
Yeah, stronger.
Okay.
Stronger than he looks.
So he engages with Wilson to try to stick up for his teammate, pulls him off. Well, it's the wrong guy to do it with. Yes, you can pin him down, but it's a full melee. Expect to get punched. When the guy has his gloves on still, he's able to punch you. It's part of the game. It's always been. I have an issue with the way the New York Rangers said, their statement coming out from them. I think it should be from someone. If you want to put your name on it, do it, because it's going to backlash on you. If you want to tell George Peros he's not fit for the job, it should come from you, not from your organization. You look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
I hope hockey scrums stay in the game. You need to add toughness, like you said. They have no one they can call up for the next 2 games to just play these guys and to actually make a statement. If you don't, that's your own fault. So
yeah, that brings me into my kind of point up. If you're a guy out there, if you're an American League guy and you're big and strong and can skate and have some skill, this offseason, I am fucking working on my skill beyond belief. And you can say what you want about Tom Wilson, but this guy is opening up doors for guys that would have not had a chance a couple years ago. People are now talking again, you need toughness. Gabriel Kidd in San Jose. Granted, he's not the greatest player, but he comes in, he's a meat stick. He
fights every game for 10 days. Yeah.
I'm not saying you need a guy to fight every game, but if you're a young kid that's in the American League, work on your skill, because toughness and size is coming back in the game. And say what you want about Tom Wilson. He's the guy you can thank for it. And every team moving forward, these GMs, I guarantee you're we need 1 or 2 guys that can fucking protect our skilled guys.
Why does Ryan Reeves still have a 3-year deal?
Exactly.
Well, we're going to talk to Gerard Gallant here shortly about Ryan Reeves and what a guy like that means to his team. Yes, does he go out and, sometimes not know there's a puck on the ice? Maybe.
We've all had those games.
Yes, but he's there for that reason.
Exactly.
That will never happen to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, ever. Mark Stone will never get punished like that. Pat Chiaretti will never get punished. No one will jump on Petrangelo's back or get an extra shot in on Leonard or Fleury. Yeah. No, they don't. They know who they got to go through. That's hockey. Yeah. TNT, ESPN, they're coming in. They want that. They want those personalities. They want fighting. It's a tough game. Be tough.
Yeah. As Don Cherry said, did you ever see anyone leave for a beer or go take a piss when there's a fight on? No, they're not. They're going to wait till the fight's over before they go get their beer or take a leak. So to Georgie Peros, listen, you have a tough job. New York Rangers, you have a bright future. We need New York Rangers being good in hockey, but come on, just get some toughness. And to Tom Wilson, man, if no one's going to do anything, keep doing your thing. I mean, he's trying to win a Stanley Cup. That's
a big
his role.
Bad wolf.
He's a big bad wolf. He's doing the fucking Hulk Hogan coming off the ice. So, Updogg, always a fun rundown. Scoopsy, congratulations. Next, we got a great guest with you, Gerard Gallant, coming at you. Yeah, we're basketball boys. We got hoops. TNT's got NHL, so we got hoops.
Bigger the hoop, bigger the hoop.
Basketball season won't be around forever, so get in on all the action now with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. DraftKings is giving new players a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Claim your free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes when using code CurfewKings during signup.
Curfew Kings, baby. Playing the daily fantasy basketball is simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the sweat like you got your kicks on the floor, Obes.
Oh, I love the kicks on the floor.
Every dunk, steal, assist means so much more with DraftKings Daily Fantasy lineup. Baseball fans, you might have missed out on a season-long fantasy, so now is the time to get on all the daily fantasy action where DraftKings has even more ways to make it rain.
Rain, baby.
I don't know why they said baseball here. It was basketball earlier, but who even knows? With DraftKings,
Both of them.
payday comes every day for players. So what are you waiting for? Head to that app now, Obes.
Updogg, download the DraftKings app now and use code CurfewKings during signup. This week, DraftKings is putting you in the action with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. That's code CurfewKings, and you get a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes only at DraftKings, fellas.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com.
Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Updogg, we got another all-time beauty. Thank God we never played against this guy because he would have pumped our eyes shut. 615 games in the National League. I played for him for a month and a half. You played with him for a long time, under him a long time. So Gerard Gallant, welcome to Missin Curfew.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You didn't mention too, but he is also a co-host to TSN Trade Center with me. So not only is he my coach, he's my partner on panel.
How was Uppy on that trade panel? Was he sharp? Did he know the players, Turk, or was he just up there winging it?
Uppy was real good in the panel. He did a great job. Lots of good opinions on players, and he knew a lot. And he looked good. His suit was real nice that day too. I remember.
Oh, yeah. He has a good suit, Rocky.
You got to have a good suit. But I did come back from Switzerland after, I was there for 3-4 months. And all of a sudden, you get the call, Turk, and I'm sure you're in the same boat, but, Steve Dryden from TSN calls and says, can you come into, to Toronto for the full day's work again? And I'm like, God, I've been in Lugano, studying the Swiss Elite League for the last little bit.
I can give you an update on that.
But I did win the Spengler Cup, so he's like, bring your jersey in. We're going to announce your retirement on air with your old coach. So I'm like, all right, that works good.
Yeah,
so.
That was funny. I was watching that when you had the jersey on and everything. I was like, this is next level.
Turk, that's a hard day. I mean, when you're in front of the camera like that, I don't know about you because, head coach, you get a lot of TV time. And Obie would probably tell you I like the camera more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But were you nervous? Because that's not something I see you doing as my head coach. That was pretty nerve-wracking that day.
It really was, Uppy. There's no doubt. I wasn't in my comfort zone there at all. But the longer the day went on, the better it got. And you got to give those guys credit. They were really good to us. They treated us real good and helped us out. So I had a great day there, and there was a lot of good people there. So they really helped you along.
Yeah, that's a good setup there at TSN. They do it right on the trade deadline day. So
yeah, it really is. Yeah, and they're fun. They're fun guys.
Turk, we really appreciate you joining us and taking some time. Congratulations on the World Championship head coaching job. We'll get into that. And Bobby Lou being your GM. Listen, you played the game the right way. You coached the game the right way. You had guys like Thordy on your fourth line, Revo in Vegas. Just talk about real quick what happened with Tom Wilson in New York because everyone's talking about it. My opinion was the Rangers need some more toughness in their lineup personally.
Yeah, no, you know what? That was a real tough call the other night. I mean, Tom Wilson, to me, he's the reason why I don't get a Stanley Cup ring in my hand today. He was a big part of that when Vegas lost to the Washington Capitals. So he plays power play, he plays penalty kill, real good hockey player, intimidating player. And saying all that, I like him. I love guys like that in my team, but I didn't like what he done. I didn't like that it was a superstar that, he ragged all and threw around and all that. And like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in tonight's game.
Turk, do you think obviously you like toughness in your line, but do you think, say what you want about Tom Wilson, that he's opening up jobs for maybe guys in the American League right now that are big and strong, that should, if they work on their skill and get a little bit quicker, that role's coming back in the NHL?
For sure. I mean, like I said, they don't seem to be too happy with what went down, and you can't let that happen to your superstar hockey players. And let's face it, guys, it doesn't happen that often. It was, I mean, you can blame whoever you want to blame or whatever side you're on. I don't like what happened, but again, there was a scrum and Panarin grabbed him from behind, and then he got thrown around pretty bad. And like I said, I don't like it. I don't like the way it went down, but we'll see what happens tonight, because there's been a lot said in the media, and see what the Rangers do tonight.
Yeah, I think of both of you guys, and I know both of you very well. It's easy when your wires cross out on the, when you're playing your heat of the battle, especially in front of your net, right? You engage with one guy, you might give him a shot, and then another guy jumps on your back, and all of a sudden you've gone completely squirrely. What I didn't like at the end of it was how Tom Wilson can be in the box and go complete Hulk Hogan in front of everyone, and just demonize like the New York Rangers. That would never happen in a situation where, even if their tough guy was sitting out that game and they played the next night, that would never happen. They just don't have toughness, and they can address it. So I think the way it all played out, it still says these guys are important. We had Brian Burke on, who called Tom Wilson the unicorn still, because he is the ultimate player. You can play him with your best players. He can be hard on the other team's best players, when they play 5-on-5 against each other. It's just you need to find the toughness. So I always like how, Turk, you address that, which is why Revo still has, such a powerful job in Vegas. He gets promoted day in, day out. And in the playoffs, a 7-game series, you just don't see that happen when you got a guy like that in your lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to protect your stars, and there's no doubt about that. And those players are important guys. And like you said, I think when you give them the challenge to be good players and be important players in your team, they usually respond to that. Weebo is a perfect example. Thordy played pretty good hockey for us. So when they get an opportunity to play, they just can't sit on the bench all night and then go out and try and do that job. It's tough to do. So, you got to respect those players for the job they do.
Absolutely. And Turk, we want to get into your playing days in Detroit. I want to ask you one question, though, because like behind the bench, you're a pretty calm guy. And like, obviously the way you played the game, you're feisty, but when you turned to a coach, was that something you had to, okay, listen, I can't go out there and drop the gloves anymore. I got to keep my bench calm and keep my players kind of calm?
Yeah. You know what? I wasn't real calm early on. And it's a good friend of mine is Colin Campbell. And a couple of times he called me from the league. He says, Turk, you got to relax. It doesn't help you with the referees. It doesn't help you. So settle down. And, so early on you get those conversations. So you try and be calm, and you try and get, never mind the referees, let them do their job. They're doing the best they can, and worry about your players and getting them back on the ice at the right time. So it was a good conversation I had that day. It's quite a few years ago, but it's something you think about all the time.
And that's the same as being a player, right? I remember when I first got in the league, I would yell at these, refs and motherfuck them and all this nonsense. I remember Bill McCurry one night called me for 5 minors at MSG. And after that, I learned my lesson, like, okay, keep your mouth shut. It doesn't help you as a player or a coach, and they're just going to call more penalties on you.
Well, it takes a while, too, because you come from junior where, you've earned kind of respect from the junior code, from the junior refs, and you feel like, okay, well, guys play me hard all the time. I should be able to get a break. Yeah. But then you come into the NHL and you got to earn that respect again. And if you don't find common ground with referees, it can last a career. It can last the whole career. Yeah. And then you hear that with coaches. Like I had Wayne as a coach too in Phoenix, and Wayne would be screaming at every referee. Now, mind you, he could because he's Wayne Gretzky, but it didn't help him. It didn't help him.
Yeah, that's true. So, Turk, listen, your Detroit Red Wings days. I watched the Bob Probert thing on Amazon, and he seemed like such a great teammate, and obviously we know his story, but what was it like playing with him and just having him on your squad?
It was great. He was one of our best friends, obviously, he had a lot of issues going on when he was playing and that, but you know what? He'd come to the rink every morning. He'd have a joke for the boys. He would give you the shirt off his back. He'd do anything for you. And that's why guys loved him so much. Like I said, he was a good hockey player. He was no doubt the toughest guy probably ever to play in the National Hockey League, in my opinion. He was just but he was a super guy off the ice too, and a lot of fun to be around. And it's just too bad that things went the way they did for him.
Yeah, and the reason I asked, when I watched that documentary, and obviously don't show everything, but the only time I seen him really get upset with is one of the teammates said something in the Detroit paper about him, and he was like, "What kind of teammate, wouldn't stick up for me, even though obviously he had some issues off the ice? He just seemed like such a good team guy, and he had everyone's back, and just expected his teammates to have his back too, right?"
100%. That's what he's all about. And like he's quick, none of us were perfect, but he made lots of mistakes, and he was one of those guys. Like I said, he'd. I know one thing. If you went to the wrong place in the wrong bar and you couldn't handle one of the guys, he'd be the first guy to jump in front of you, and he'd make sure he was the guy, taking the knuckles and all that if the incidents happened. And that's just the way Provy was. He treated everybody the same. He loved life, and he had a lot of fun.
And then, Turk, I was lucky to have Wendell Clark on the power play on Monday on NHL Sirius XM with Cools, and Wendell Clark was my favorite player, and I found out real quick that we were having him on, so I wasn't quite prepared. But just playing against him, because you watch videos, he didn't ask you to go. He dropped his gloves and he was chucking first. Was he a guy that maybe had a dirty reputation, or you're just like, hey, that's Wendell, and keep your head up?
No, you know what Wendell's all about. Wendell was my size, probably. We weren't the biggest guys. We're probably 185 pounds when we played. But he was fighting with the heavyweights, and he could do it, and he was a good hockey player. So there was nothing dirty about it, nothing cheap about Wendell. He would stand guys up straight up and fight. I mean, I seen him fight Provy a few times. Real good jobs. And, Wendell could score with anybody in the league. He's a good goal scorer, had a great shot. Just an all-around great hockey player at that time.
Yeah, and sorry, but I loved him. He was my favorite. But at the start of his fights, Turk, his gloves were off, and he was chucking them before anyone even knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, no, he was ready to go all the time, and I made sure I got to know him. Him and Joey Kosher are cousins, so I got hung around with Joey a little bit, and I didn't really want to ever fight Wendell Clark. I mean, he always banged and battled and sort of chirped a little bit, but when his gloves come off, I was glad one of the other boys were around.
Just like our dads tell us, throw first, ask questions later.
Exactly.
Because you never know when you run into a bulldog like that. Hey, Turk, speaking of favorite players, Stevie Y for me was one of my favorite players. I idolized him growing up. I wore his number. I got to play against him. He was my GM at my first World Championships, which you're going to here in a couple weeks. What was it like, having him come in as a young kid, showing him the ropes, being a leader and all, and then, the transition for him into, his job now and his role. He's just been this idolizing guy for a lot of Canadian hockey players. And I guess just your relationship with him, how's that gone?
Yeah, we like playing on his line for 3 or 4 years together, and being roommates, and like I said, I was the older guy. He might have played in Detroit before me, but I was the senior guy when we got in the room, and I had the clicker. He had to go get the Kentucky Fried Chicken when we ordered everything. You might idolize him, but I still controlled him a little bit. Even.
Oh yeah. Well, behind each legend, there's the legend that showed him the way, Turk, and that's kind of that's kind of Stevie Y's right there. But I just love how collective he is, and what he did in Tampa Bay, building that foundation for those guys to their success in the last 10 years, and then him moving on, and hopefully he's able to do it in Detroit. I know the Detroit Red Wings organization means a lot to you and a lot to the game, so hopefully he's part of bringing that back.
He will. He's a great hockey person, and he's got patience, and he's going to build that team up real good. He's a smart hockey guy, and he takes pride in what he does. He'll work hard. He's just not one of those guys that step into a job and because he's Steve Eisman, he's going to go there and work hard, and he's going to build that team because he takes a lot of pride in it for sure.
Hey, Turk, you mentioned that, you were the veteran and he went to go get the Kentucky Fried Chicken for the boys, which is absolutely great. And my question is, when Gabriel Landeskog walked in the dressing room in Colorado, when it was my 5th or 6th year in the league, I kid at 18 years old, I was like, this kid is probably more mature than me right now, which maybe isn't saying a lot, but I knew he was going to be a great captain. Did you know that about Stevie the day you met him? Like, this guy's got something special?
Yeah, person, and he cared for everybody. So, when I met him and he got around the first couple of years, you knew he was going to be a great leader and a great captain. What was frustrating was we had such a poor team the first couple of years that, people didn't see his leadership skills. And as soon as our team became pretty good and real good at the end, he was an obvious captain, one of the best captains in the history of the game. So he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah, he's great. Hopefully the Red Wings get back to where although they had 22 years straight of making the playoffs. And I took a lot of minuses in that Joe Louis Arena, Turk, so I don't feel that bad some nights for the Red Wings because I had a lot of minuses there.
For sure.
We want to talk about, you did such a great job in Florida. Uppy loved playing for you. And there were some young kids there when you were the head coach and we were there. And Barkov's the one kid I want to talk to you about. Like, he didn't say a whole lot when he was a young kid, but could you see his character and the way he's turned into a leader for Florida? And is he one of the most underrated guys in the league?
There's no doubt he's. People are getting to know him the last couple of years, obviously, but he's a very underrated, great player, great two-way player, and just a great kid. Like you said, I don't think he said 2 words to me in 3 years.
Yeah.
We enjoyed each other. He's a pleasure to coach. You couldn't put him on the ice at a bad time. I mean, the kid wanted to play every day, as Uppy knows, and he wanted to get better and work harder, and you could see his talent coming, and it was just a matter of time for him and Huberto to take that team over. And they're dominant players today. They're both top 15 scorers in the NHL today, and great hockey players for that team.
Yeah, Turk, I look at Hubie was a kid who came in and he could barely speak English when he came to our team. But he was always interested in hanging out. So he'd come to me and we'd go for lunch, and you start to kind of just show him what it's like to kind of learn to live by himself.
You could see he was trying to soak as much as he could.
He lived with his parents for he had a condo down in Fort Lauderdale with his parents for the first year, and I'm watching the transformation of them take over the Florida Panthers, and lead them, into the next phase of their careers. And what I see from afar, and by afar I mean coast to coast, is that organization now is finally starting to turn. They're to me, they have no issue going to play the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. They have, Carolina, bring it on. A little playoff success, and we found a little. You, Turk, towards the end of your tenure there, you found success there, but that Florida Panther team needs guys like Hubie to be elite. They need Barkov to be a guy that is a Selke two-way forward every year, and they're getting it. So, did you see that? Did you see that in Hubie as well? And I wanted to ask about Yogs. Yogs worked with Barkov a lot. I used to see it from afar. I wasn't, Yogs kept to himself, but you'd always see Yogs go out of his way with Barkey. Was that something you had a chance to talk to Yogs about helping Barkey, getting him on kind of this program? Because Yogs had this crazy program, didn't he?
I wish I could take credit for that. But, but like you said, Yogs was a different bird. He had this unbelievable program that you talked about, and he's just a great guy. But I never seen a guy work out as much as Yogs. You try and give him a day off, and he'd come to the rink and he'd skate before we get on the ice, and he'd do his workout with all his weights and all that. But he was definitely a big influence on Barkey, a big time influence on that kid.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Turk, I got to ask you if you remember the time in Florida where I got called up. We were on the Eastern Road swing. We kicked the shit out of Toronto. I think we beat somebody else before. And then we were heading into Montreal, and Dale gave the boys curfew. And then Uppy jumped off the bus. It was like, hey, Turk, can I ask you something? You're like, what's up, Uppy? He's like, hey, is this curfew thing mandatory, or can we go for dinner? You're like, Uppy, I think you had enough fun this road trip.
Yeah, we haven't seen him this road trip yet. So.
Yeah, that kind of got lost in translation there, I think.
But as long as you won and played hard, you had some fun. We had time with that group. We had a good group of guys, and we got rewarded a little bit. And Dale was a lot of fun to work with, also.
Yeah, and you know what, Turk? It was that year for me was hard, going down to the minors, and you guys were having success. But the hardest thing, and I told Uppy this, and Broadway and the boys were on that team, was every time I got called up, and authority was a big part of it, the feel that you guys had in that dressing room. You had fun, you played hard, you were winning hockey games, and you were a big reason why they had that feel there.
Yeah, no, really, when I was in Florida with that group of guys, we came out of nowhere, really. The first year, I think there were 25 points or 35 points out of the playoffs. And, we got there was no pressure. We knew we had a pretty good group of kids. Roberto and Barkov and those kids were coming up. We knew we had a good group of players. I really liked the depth of our team. And, we sort of took off that year. And like I said, we came to practice. We had a lot of fun on the ice. I felt like I was part of the team, part of the player. I felt like a player in that team. It was a good veteran bunch of good guys, and we had a lot of fun. And, they found that winning was when going to the rink, and we didn't have much success there in Florida before that. And all of a sudden, we're starting to win. Any given night, we're beating it, real good teams. So it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, Turk, I really liked, you have different coaches throughout your career. You had a bunch of coaches when you played Obie too. The one thing about you and you always had Mike Kelly with you, but you guys were so just honest and open. Like I was at the point in my career, I was coming off some injuries. I was on the last year of a 4-year deal. But you laid it straight out to me. You're like, Uppy, this is a situation you're in. You're going to play fourth line for a while. If a guy goes down, I might play you up, but there'll be some games you might not get in because we're not doing so well. That sort of message from coaches as you get older in your career, you learn to gain respect, and you realize what you need to do to continue to play in the league. And I learned a lot from you. I left Florida. I went on my first PTO after my tenure there, and I had Hitch, and Hitch was the same way with me. He just gave it to me straight up. And I feel like a lot of young coaches now, there's a difference in how they speak to the younger players. But for an older guy, Turk, straight up, it's the only way to be. I know you probably pride on honesty and hard work from your players, and that message to me went a long way.
Well, I appreciate that, Uppy. But the big thing is when I played the game, that's what I wanted to. You want to know where you stand and where you're going to be at the prime of my career. I was a first line player and played a lot of hockey. I didn't need it, but at the end of my career, when I was in Tampa Bay and I was fourth line sitting out games, you just wanted honesty. That's all you ever wanted from that. Like you said, your time's getting. That's the short end of your career is getting at the end. And you just want to play. So, and when the coach tells you that, you might not play tonight, this is what the scenario is going to be. Everybody appreciates that.
Yeah,
exactly. And John Tortorella, who I played for Torts by 2 years in Tampa, and say what you want. Like, he's a fiery little prick sometimes, but you know where you stood with Torts. Like, he told me stuff that, looking back, that helped me not only as a player, but as a man. And at the time when I was 23, Turk, I was like, this guy's an asshole. But you look back and you're like, hey, he was just being straight with me. And if as you go on as a veteran, you try to show young kids that too as a player.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, that's, like I said, if you ask 100% of the players, they want honesty. They want to know what's going on, what lies ahead for them, even with the young kids. I mean, young kids coming in, the more information you can give them, and it's not going to work out perfectly every time, but I think the more honesty you can be with young kids, veteran players, the better off you're going to be as a coach.
Absolutely. That's well said. And Turk, obviously now we got the Seattle Kraken, officially the 32nd club of the NHL. And it brought me back to your first year in Vegas. And I knew you're the head coach there, and I knew you a little bit. Just walk me through, when you first saw your squad, did you know you were going to be that good? Or what were your thoughts heading into that first season and how it just turned into something that may never happen again?
Yeah, we had good hockey team, obviously. I mean, I think we just got off on the right foot. We went 7-1 in their first 8 games, and Marc-Andre Fleury and James Neal. James Neal is a big part of that group early on. He scored some real big goals in overtime and tied the game up. The first game, I think it was in Dallas, he tied it up and he won it in overtime. So I just think we got on a roll early, and then the guys believe they can beat anybody, and that's basically what happened. Nobody had any, when we looked at our roster, but nobody thought we were going to, be as good as any team in the NHL that year.
Best home record in the league.
Yeah, boys. Yeah. That's the first thing. When Vegas gets a team, I'm like, they're going to be good at home. They're going to be good at home. But Turk, just the way the city rallied around your team and rallied around the group of guys. I thought when Vegas got a team, honestly, it'd be, they have some fans, but it'd be all road fans coming in, like Toronto, Montreal. Were you just blown away how they rallied around you guys right away?
We were blown away. I mean, seriously, you went out anywhere, even me as a coach. I'd go downtown, the odd night you head off, go to the casino and go for dinner. Everybody recognized you. I didn't expect that one bit. The players, everybody was getting car deals the first year. Everything was going on, but the fans just loved it. And you know what? I think a big part of it was we opened their doors right from day one in the practice rink. There was 700-800 people watching their practice every day, and they really took to the team. It felt like a minor league atmosphere, and it was a big leagues, obviously, but it felt like a minor league atmosphere where everybody was, the players were always around the fans. When they come to the arena, we'd sign autographs outside by our cars, and after the practice, the guys were always signing autographs. So the players were all the time.
Speaking of car deals, I still got your dream car sitting in my driveway here. I still got that blue Alpina. He'd be like,
Still got it, eh?
oh yeah, I still got it. 2011, baby. She's still with me. He'd be like, Uppy, you know what? When you want to get rid of that car, you know, I like her. I'm like, hey, get me on the PP. You can have her right now. How's that?
I kept putting a good word in with Dale and say,
totally.
Another year or two, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, you don't want that car now, Turk. It's on its last legs. He's too cheap. He doesn't want to get rid of it. I'm like, Uppy, it's had a good run, bud. You got to let her go now. You got to let her go.
Oh, I'm hooked. Yeah. It's like, it's just tough leaving the good things. You know?
Oh, you treated it great. The fact that it's still running is amazing.
Yeah. I was good. Let's talk about Team Canada, Turk. Let's dive in. This is have you coached before World Championships before?
I was fortunate enough to be assistant coach twice. I think it was 2007 and 2017 or somewhere in that area. And, we won the gold medal with Andy Murray, Joe Russian. And the next time we lost it, I think in 17 with John Cooper, he was the head coach. We lost in the shootout in the gold medal game. So both were great experiences. I loved it. As you know, Team Canada treats you first class, real good people. And, I'm looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, we spoke about it early in the podcast, and Shane had never really had a chance to play for Team Canada. And I dove into just what it what it means to a Canadian kid, whether you're young or old, to play for your team, for your country, and then just what Team Canada does on these tournaments. And I was super excited when I saw your name come up, and then Roberto Luongo, Shane Doan. You're building this, they're building this little ultimate group of guys to help, lead a team. And I don't know what your team's going to be like. And I guess we were going to dive into that. Do you think because of COVID and the season that these NHL guys have had, and how hard it's been on them, and we say that because we've been watching a lot and it's tough, but what are you expecting for players to come over there? Do you think it'll be a good showing of guys wanting to come play this year?
Well, like you just said, Uppy, it's going to be tougher. It's going to be challenging. You got to give, the players, the last 15 months been really tough on the players. They've been tough on everybody in the world, but the players, definitely the bubble and everything that's gone on. So the guys are going to have some challenges, and Roberto and Shane are doing a great job. They're calling it as a team to get eliminated officially. They're calling general managers and trying to get some players put together. And, I don't know what the list is going to be right now. I mean, I know that we're going to have a conference call later in the week here and see what we got, but it's going to be challenging. But in the same hand, in saying that, I think we're going to be another strong team. We might not have different challenging players, younger players for sure. And like I said, as a coach, whoever's going to come over there, they want to be there. It's going to be fun. We'll have a real good team no matter who comes. NHL players are all, they're quality players, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I know the players will when we get there.
Yeah, Shane and I, when we saw it come up last week, we both, immediately looked at each other and said, "There's no better guy for a job to go over for a 2-week, 3-week tournament, for Team Canada, putting all guys together that maybe don't know each other, maybe some do, and the honesty, the part that we talked about earlier, just about this is your role on this team, and we're all here to have fun. Your families, hopefully, all the families get to come over, but that's a big." That's a big reason why the Team Canada, I think, does pick the coaches they do. You do have to be a guy that, knows how to, be direct and be hard, but get the best out of your players and make sure they know how to have fun and then go play hard. And that's the ultimate tournament for both.
Yeah. Well, the thing for me is, and you said it, Turk, like everyone's dealt with it, but these players and coaches, what they've had to deal with this year. So for me, when you got the job, I was like, it's perfect because guys that play for you make it enjoyable to come to the rink. In the NHL, like some days people don't realize we're making lots of money. It's a good lifestyle. But if you're in a slump and things aren't going well, your coach is on you, it's tough. So I've never played in a short tournament, Turk. Like I love your coaching style, but in a short tournament like that, is there anything you change or just be the same Gerard Gallant and hope guys pick it up quicker?
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be challenging because we've only got 3 days of practice. We've got no exhibition games, and it's going to be the same for all the teams. So it's not an excuse, but we're going to have to do our work. Myself, Mike Kelly, and the other coaches, Andre Chiarini, and we're going to have to do our, get our system tape all together and put it out to the players when they get there. And, we got 2 days of quarantine and we got 3 days of practice and we got our first game. So, yeah. And again, I'm not a big, we talk about systems. I watch NHL games every night, and most of the teams play the same way. So something we're going to bring into the guys that they want to, we do talk about a neutral zone forecheck or an aggressive 1-2-2 forecheck in the offensive zone or a D zone coverage, it's not going to be a surprise to the NHL players. We'll show them what we want to do, get done what we can do, and let them go play the game.
It's a great point by you, and I had that question for you because I know you want to get back in the NHL. You will get back in the NHL. And my question, me and Up, we were talking about you, and I watch a lot of hockey now because I'm talking about it, and I want to know what I'm talking about. And I'll be honest, Turk, some nights I watch games, and I'm like, you know, if I didn't have a few bucks on, I probably wouldn't watch it. When you're just trying to get through it, that's what you do? Just watch the game, stay involved as much as you can?
Yeah, definitely. I watch games every night. Some nights I watch games as a fan. Some nights I watch games because it's my job and looking for new stuff out there. But I enjoy hockey. I enjoy watching the games. And like I said, it's I've had 15 months in PEI, so we get a lot of chance to watch a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, summer's around the corner, Turk, and you'll be able to get out on that golf course, hopefully with a gold medal from Riga, Latvia again.
Yeah. We want to ask you about one kid. He's not going to be on your team, unfortunately. Just Connor McDavid. We talk about him every week. Just from a coach's perspective, when you watch this guy, what are your thoughts right now? He's taking it to another level.
Another level, like he's unbelievable hockey player. There's some great stars in our league today. You know, Nathan MacKinnon, Crosby's, all those players, and Austin Matthews, just to name a few. But this guy just taking it to another level. Every night you think he's going to get 3 or 4 points, and you try and stop him as a coach. You're trying to get systems to stop him. Oh, that's going to be tough. You know, you gotta get 2 guys on him all the time. You got to somehow eliminate his speed, but he's just a phenomenal player and a good person to watch. Good kid.
He really is. It's special just watching him separate from a pile or when he doesn't have the puck too. And as a coach, I'm sure that's a lot that you can tune in on. But I've been focusing on what he does when he doesn't have the puck, and he's separating. These guys are literally like not watching the play and trying to chase him around, and he's getting lost. It's wild.
He skates like you, Uppy, with hands.
Yeah. With hands, and he's probably not looking in the crowd and seeing if the 2 girls he invited to the game are showing up.
Yeah, he's definitely not doing that. But Turk, we really appreciate you coming on with us, and we know you want to get back in the game, and you will for sure. Are you looking for a team that's like knock on the door, rebuild, or you're just looking for an opportunity again to get behind the bench and do your thing?
I'm looking for an NHL opportunity again. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. So whatever team calls.
Yeah.
The grand.
Yeah, sweet. Does he want to come on the TV and say hi?
Come on and say hi to the boys. Come on, quick.
Come on in.
They're talking to Greg. See.
Come on, buddy. Up here.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's your name?
Dylan.
Nice to meet you, Dwayne.
Dylan.
Oh, Dylan. Hey, Dylan.
Dylan, yeah.
Good to meet you.
Dylan
Are you a hockey player?
That's my grandson, Dylan. Yeah, he's a goalie and he's a hockey player. He loves it all.
Good for you. Who's your favorite player, Dylan?
Tell him who your favorite players.
Tell him Andy's
Tell him.
The New York Rangers have just fired their general manager and president.
Oh, wow. See, they shouldn't have come out with that statement. Did you hear that, Turk?
They fired John Davison and Jeff Gordon.
Really?
Yeah.
New York Rangers.
New York Rangers.
It feels like we're on the desk at the panel. All this news just breaking live while we're dropping it.
Turk, you're a beauty, buddy. Good luck at the Worlds. Tell Bobby Lou to get off his wall and buy some dinners for the boys. Yeah, he's got enough money, so.
Will do, boys. Thanks for having me.
It was good to catch up. Say hi to everyone back on the East Coast, and we'll talk soon. Good luck over there.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
See you, Coach.
Thanks, bud.
Obie, a new announcement we announced last week is our partnership with Aura. Aura is the company behind the health tech wearable that delivers personalized sleep and overall health insights that help you go into each day feeling rested and ready, big fella. And they do that through the wearable ring. This ring is beautiful. In fact, it's that beautiful that I left mine at home today.
That happens.
Unfortunately.
It happens, bud. You're a busy guy.
But Aura, let me just tell you in a brief nutshell. Aura is empowering because you are able to learn about your readiness, your sleep, and your activity score just by wearing a ring. All that blood flow that comes down through your arm and into your hand pumps pulse, pumps
Where
your
else does the
temperature.
blood flow go?
Oh, shit. I know exactly where it goes, especially on the weekend. I tell you, that pleat pants I was wearing this weekend, there's a
You
few
were showing
pictures.
a few
People
of-
were like, geez, he's got quite the blood flow going here this weekend. It must be a horse race around here. This is a ring that can only make you a better person, a better athlete, a better sleeper, a better lover, better business guy. Who doesn't want to know what their day is going to be like as they wake up by realizing what their sleep score was the night before?
Listen, I'm fired up. I got the ring. I'm getting it fitted now. Listen, I woke up feeling like shit this morning. It was the 2 dogs, 3 beers, and the 4 bags of peanuts I had with you at the baseball game. I would have loved my Aura ring to tell me, hey, you need this, you need that, you need more sleep, whatever. I'm excited for the opportunity to do it. I got my ring. I'm going to have it fitted, and I'm going to be on the program soon, Updogg.
Both mental and physical recovery, Obes, is key when it comes to staying productive. And the Aura ring is designed to provide accuracy and comfort without compromise. If you're the type of guy that wears the Apple Watch to monitor text messaging and heart rate when you work out and you go mountain climbing or whatever, the total package is to deliver the Aura ring for your sleep. Because I think the sleep is the most important part of one's physical well-being.
Sure. It is.
So we want you all to dive in to aura.com. And, Mother's Day is just right here around the corner. Get the new limited edition Heritage Gold Aura ring. Just sounds so cool.
That
Aura
gold
ring.
Aura, I like that.
Or you
I
get the
love
stealth.
gold Aura.
You get the stealth of the black or the silver. From $2.99 to $3.99, you can give or get the gift by health by visiting auraring.com. That's auraring.com. Go check it out. Proud sponsors here at Missin Curfew. Thank you so much.
Woo! Updogg, what a beauty. We'll get into that. But breaking news, as at the end of our interview with Turk there, they fired John Davidson and Jeff Gorton, the president and general manager of the New York Rangers, have been piped a day after what they came out. And that's exactly what we were talking about. You can't say that.
The day after they let someone get, keyboard happy and type out a letter on behalf of the New York Rangers.
Jeez.
Now, I don't think look at
Bud.
the stretch they just went on, right?
Crazy.
There's some promising young players
They're
in
the
that
most
room
exciting young team in the NHL
right now to watch.
Yeah.
And they play in the best city in North America, right? And the restaurants and everything are opening up there next week. I know that because Lupul said he's going back to hang out.
He wants to make some money. He wants to make some money.
But you can't. I don't think you let that happen.
Yeah,
How
you
does
don't-
that?
you don't let it happen.
You tell the director of player safety to get a new job that he's not fit for their job from a miscellaneous source at the New York Rangers. Maybe they got hacked. I don't know. Maybe
But
they got
that's crazy. So it kind of proved our point. I just wanted to say it. Too bad this wasn't live right now because it popped. I guess we didn't break it anyways. But yeah, man, listen, New York's Rangers, you shouldn't have said what you said. I don't ever want to see anyone get fired, but all they should just said, keep it in house. We'll adjust our lineup for next year and get some toughness. But Gerard Gallant, Upie, great pull. I could tell how much you love playing for him. He's just a guy's guy sitting there in New Brunswick with the Ginla jersey behind him. Like, just a team guy.
Yeah, he's out there, East Coaster. He's singing PEI, and he's
PEI? Oh, yeah.
PEI. But listen, to me, he's like he's the father figure of a lot of his players that he plays for. He's that type of guy, and he acts like that. He cares about his team. He demands honesty. He's not the craziest X's and O guy, but he puts in place a system that works. It worked in Vegas. It's worked before for him in the past. I mean, he's over 500 as a coach and has had playoff success.
Yep.
Like we didn't even really get into it, but that Game 7
I know.
penalty,
Fuck, I mean,
we didn't get into it, and we were all kind of
that game was just over. I remember I was
The
watching
game was
it. It was
over.
over. And they called a 5-minute major on them. And it's something that Cooley brings up all the time about eye in the sky. So they can look at that. And
yes, that sort of penalty, any major penalty.
yeah, these guys work so hard up here to win a Stanley Cup, and that play there, who knows? You could have a Stanley Cup ring. That Vegas team was fucking good too.
Yeah, well, they lose in the final. Then the next year, they're buzzing just as good or better than they were the year before, and that happens in the second round. And that's where the St. Louis Blues went on to take on San Jose, and therefore blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But great coach, great guest.
Great guy.
You know, wish him the best over in
Love what he
Riga.
said.
Wish all Team Canada the best over there.
Love what he said about Proby.
Yeah.
Love what he said about Stevie made him go get the Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's awesome.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
to you young guys out there, that's how it is back. It doesn't matter if you're Stevie Y, the veteran guy says go get some chicky. You go get some chicky.
Go get
for the
some
boys,
chicky.
so.
Yeah.
Updogg, Missin Curfew, top titty.
Friday night contest, Obes. We got some results from last week, and boy, were me and Hazy pushing it. We were neck and neck. It was almost like the Kentucky Derby race.
They're
we were
coming down the stretch.
just by the tip of his cock.
Hazy
Hazy
and
beat
you-
me by
wow.
0.10. 101.50 for Mr. Jimmy Broadway. Scoopsy Hayes. I was 101.40. I don't even know what the 0.10. What is that? A guy like...
a guy threw a turnover on you or something. Maybe took a penalty, took a minus.
Well, what does it take to get you 0.10? Does a guy got to throw a
Block
fucking
shot, maybe?
piece of tape down to one of his teammates?
Well,
or-
we'll have the answers for you because our boy, I took it on the chin, 51 points. Our
You did.
boy,
That's a terrible showing, bud.
Broadway Jimmy Scoop Hayes, he's going to really dive into this top titty for us moving forward. He's going to break it down for us. He's going to really let these guys know. The winner this weekend, Andy Calendar, Callie, 164.70. Cal McCarr, this guy was on fire.
Cal
watched that
McCarr,
game.
33.9 points alone. I mean, basically, he almost beat you.
Cal McCarr
Cal
almost
McCarr
took me
alone
down.
almost took you down. But our boy Callie here, he had 164 points. I mean, I'm learning my way on this DraftKings.
Are you starting to feel it?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it. Listen, I like to really bulk up my lineup by a full team, and I would love to sit here and ask this calendar, like, you know, how did you put in Bunting and, you know,
Bunting for Phoenix, yeah.
A Hill? Who the fuck is A Hill? Is he the goalie for Vegas or the Arizona goalie?
Arizona goalie. Look at,
I mean, 27.5. How do you think Vegas is going to go get shut out by the Arizona Coyotes?
did you think Phil the Thrill would throw a donut on the board for you, Callie? Andy Calendar. Phil the Thrill with a donut. Bunting 10. Landeskog fucks.
So even with Phil Kessel, he
Rantanen.
getting 0, he still wins.
Still wins. Callie, he's got to figure it out. Our boy Scoops, he's going to break this stuff down. He's also going to have another little segment for us called Parlay Cafe, where he's going to dive into some parlays, obviously, some locks of the weekend, some sleeper picks. It's just a little fun thing for Hazy to give him a little more of Broadway Jimmy Scoops. You know what I mean? Hey?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a great chance for our listeners to engage into our fantasy sports
Yes,
with DraftKings.
exactly.
Jimmy Scoops, he's been on fire with his parlays.
Fuck, he's got 2 back-to-back 5 gamers in the last couple of weeks,
So
which
we
is
want
fucking booyah.
We want a chance for our listeners to really, you know, get the ins and outs from Jimmy on some of the parlays. He's a man on a mission, trying to win our fans some money, and then, you know, really dive into this fantasy sports DraftKings stuff for us and for the listeners. And, you know, it's just an incredible time. We got playoffs coming up. Obes, lots of money thrown around. We got the Hockey Fantasy Sports Championship coming up.
I heard about that.
In fact, there's a guy that we're going to interview, I think, next week. I think I might even have his name here somewhere. Josh something. We're going to have you on. Break it down. You're the man. Speaking of next week, Obes, we have Friday night's games this week. I'm a little off. But
got 'em.
we got some matchups. This is almost coming up to the last weekend of the season, bud.
Wow, these guys. This is a
Last weekend of the
last
regular
week of the season is
season.
good for if you're on a good team or bad team. Good team, playoff hockey. Bad team, Updogg. Let's plan the trip. Where are we going?
Nashville.
Flyers, Capitals.
Flyers, Caps. We got the Caps, you know, pushing. They want looking for a spot in that playoffs. They're looking for a seed, get some home ice advantage. Detroit at Columbus. Toilet bowl.
That is a toilet bowl.
Dallas at Tampa Bay. Dallas is that's a big game for Dallas. Dallas need to win out here.
They do
gotta
need to win out.
They got to catch Nashville, but you know, I'm kind of pulling for Nashville because I miss my boys at the Tin Roof. I miss everything.
We want to do a live show there. Anaheim, Minnesota. Hammer the Wild. Hammer them.
St. Louis, Vegas.
Ooh, that'll be a barn burner, I think.
That might be. You know what, Obes? I'm looking at that. That's going to be maybe a tight match. So you know,
Maybe you take a goalie from there.
take the goalie, take
fucking
Vinner,
Fleury, Leonard.
take
whoever.
Fleury. Maybe bundle up a line on Vegas against a D core against the Blues. You know, you throw in I feel like Torrey Krug might be a little guy. Is he hurt still?
He's a little banged up right now, yeah.
He might be coming back. You got to get him back.
He's
in the
back
lineup
healthy.
before.
Colorado, Los Angeles. See, this is good. I'm going to hammer all the Avs guys again and probably take factor. But you got to think Colorado's going to put up some numbers there.
Colorado against the Kings. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
like-
think Quick's playing. He got banged up the
Yeah.
other night. He's out.
So bet the Avs.
My car.
And then Arizona at San Jose, another, what do you call it? Toilet bowl?
It's the toilet. It's the bowl game that just was inside the toilet because they're both out of it and they're playing like poop.
Yeah, that's true. So, that's
So
the
yeah, a lot of
matchups.
games, a lot of players to pick. Friday nights, Top Titty Challenge at DraftKings. Download the app.
$3 entry
$3
fee.
$500 up for grabs.
I got to get my teams figured out. 500, bud?
Yeah, you really got to put forth.
I'll tell you what. And Jimmy Scoops is going to do this Parlay Cafe. He's going to give you for that upcoming weekend. And we're all going to do it. We're going to join in. We're going to try to help you pick some winners, some locks, some ones that maybe you don't think, and just have some fun with it because we all want to make a little extra scratch and some fantasy stuff with DraftKings, which is so much fun, Ups.
It sure is. So download the app. If you've done it for the first time, promo code Curfew Kings.
Curfew Kings, baby.
And sign up for our Top Titty. Check out our socials too, by the way. Check out our iTunes. Check out our Instagram. Leave a message. Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube and leave a
Make a
message
comment
on there.
about
Chirp us.
to make a comment about my suit from the Derby, how much fabric they had to use. Uppy, our sponsors, man. We couldn't be here without them. DraftKings, Canada Dips. I got a lip boomer in again, like
I got
every other
Lip
show.
Boomer too. By the
Good
way, you
life.
get that mixed bag of Lip Boomers.
Yeah,
right
I
here.
had that last night for you. I put them all in. I'm going to talk.
For those of you who don't know what to do with all your random tins of Canada Dips, because there's probably one or two left in there. Just fire them all in the same tin and throw it to your buddy at a baseball game, and he puts two in, and they're both different. I'm like, oh, this is a
He
little
goes,
mixed
Obie,
bag
what
of
kind of
peas.
flavor is this? I go, that's a mixed bag there, fella. So the mixed bag Canada Dips by Missin Curfew. Good Life Uppy. We're wearing their gear. It's unbelievable. Aura ring. So I just got mine. I'm excited. I'm getting it fitted. I want to really see, because I woke up this morning feeling not recovered.
Might have been the 2 dogs and 3
Yeah.
beers,
Oh, yeah.
or the
The Aura ring would have been like, hey, you need
nachos.
more rest.
Yeah, well, we really will dive into the Aura ring, but we have some great brands behind us, like you just said.
And Manscaped, baby.
Manscaped.
Keep the balls and nose hairs under control because summer's coming, baby.
Yeah, you can't be at the Derby party with sweaty balls.
I put on the bald. It's funny you say that. Before the Derby party, I showered up. I was getting ready. I went Manscaped ball deodorant on the balls everywhere, foot deodorant, and I think I put the ball toner on underneath. So I did the nose hairs because I knew I'd be on camera with you. So Manscaped, baby. And obviously, rate and review us on your platforms, Apple, Spotify. Let us know. Chirp us. We'd rather you give us 5 stars and say we're fucking beauties, but we'll take what we can get up, Shaw.
Yep, we take down whatever. Now.
We did. Fucking enter to win, buddy.
There are some prizes to be had and to be taken. In fact, take them all. You know what? Sign up. Enter to win on our website, www.missioncurfew.com. We got some autograph sticks on there. We got bundles and bundles and bundles of Good Life, of Canada Dips. We got some
Melon hats.
The boys at Melon really threw the boys, a bone there with a couple hats for our
Those guys seem like good dudes, man.
Good dudes, good hats. They don't sweat through. Good Life clothing, the best gear you're ever going to lounge in.
By far.
And go out in.
I lounge, I go out, and those shirts are money. I was out the other night with one on, and I got a compliment.
So www.goodlife.com. Curfew 20 is your promo code.
Curfew 20, baby.
Get your woman or your mother something for Mother's Day on there this Sunday. Shout out to all the mums.
Yeah, I got to get my mom flowers. Lip Boomers, promo code Curfew Cali.
Curfew Cali at www.canadipcbdobes.com.
If you're chewers out there, listen, you get the 5 tin bundle, right? I get 5 times 5. I get 25 tins, right? Comes to my door. It's right there. It's in my cupboard. I pick them out. I haven't chewed real chew since. These Lip Boomers, baby. Get the Cali 5 tin package. Order like 3 or 4 of them. You'll be set for, if you chew them like me, you'll be set for like maybe 2 weeks. But they're unbelievable.
And if you're in California and you want to get high,
Get the
you
THC.
get the THC ones.
I'm going to try those maybe tonight.
But I had a kind of a buzz going like I was actually high on tobacco too. It was a little, mind you, I'm sitting here with you guys, spitting it and, trying to dial in my names, Busanevich. while I
that
was
one, right?
while I was high, and it just wasn't really working like it should. So
Thank you to all our sponsors.
yeah, thanks for your
Rate,
patience,
review
guys.
us, Apple, Spotify, wherever your platform is. Updogg, Missin Curfew.
Missin Curfew.
Never had a thing like you. Little brown girl that can hang like you. Shine so bright in the daylight, moonlight, making that little thing shade like you. Love in the back of the whip, so we took it back to the crib. Shorty like crack, no cat. Don't know how to act with a kid. Keeping it a stack, what it is. What she want? She just want head in the morning. She just want lay in the daylight. She ain't trying to do no falling. Don't want love if it ain't right. Walk on the beach on Sunday afternoon.